Hi guys, can you hear me and how's the sound quality? Okay, great. Right. Since we will have just a few just two normal classes before the project defense of yours, well, I suppose what we can do, maybe we can take a look um on the next thing, which could be data structures. So maybe we won't take a look maybe on those certain algorithms which are left. Anyways, you have links, so you can take a look at them and you can make them based on functions. Okay. Anyways, if we will have a time, then we can take a look on them. Anyways. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen so we could start working. All right, so right now you have to be able to see my screen. And yeah, so what I did, I uploaded you a homework, number 7. It's related to certain algorithms. You will see there that you will have to apply bubble sort. Well, it's actually quite easy to do. So I suppose that this homework will be pretty easy. Okay. Anyways, let's take a look on data structures. So what do we have? Here we have okay, and this presentation will be quite small. So for example, um, uh, how we can create some data structure, and what is it exactly? You know, guys, let's suppose we would try to store information about our friends, their names, surnames, maybe phone numbers, emails, and so on and so on. For example, in a similar manner, we have them stored in our mobile phones. Well, we understand, guys, that those are arrays which could be used, right? So we could use array for names, array for surnames, array for phones, and so on and so on. But as you understand, this way of storing information is fine. We can use that. We can use that. It's not a problem, and so on. The only thing that it's not very logical, you know. The logical case would be that we have a list of people, right? And within each of those people, we can give name, surname, phone number, maybe email, and something else. That will be more logically correct. And it means that we wouldn't be working with a lot of areas simultaneously. We wouldn't need to get an access to those different arrays and so on and so on. But how to make this? So we could have such question. Well, in C language and C++, we have such interesting thing as code structure. Well, for the definition, we write a reserved word struct, give a name of the structure. So it's kind of we are defining a new data type, which contains several subvariables. So, for example, we can have some, I don't know, or it could be information about whatever, maybe marks, maybe something else, and so on and so on. So let's suppose we can have text, we have We can have arrays inside of this. We can have integers. Well, literally, we're not really limited with data types and amount of variables. So, and moreover, guys, since this is the data type, well, we can create the data types, which could be maybe included into another structures. For example, um, oh, okay, here I have a bit different namings, but okay, that's fine. Anyways, you can use whatever data type inside whatever data type actually in C language. It's not only about structures, it's just one particular case. But what is interesting, the most interesting thing, guys, that you can have um, several classes, no structures, and you can have several variables, right? So the most interesting thing is that, is there any way we can work with those data? Especially when we have sub variables, we have substructures, and so on and so on. Literally accessing the sub variables possible by using the point. So, for example, we can have variable x, we can have some structure inside that variable, which we call maybe success or whatever, maybe marks, maybe something else. Then we write dot and we use a sub-variable of that structure, that entire structure. And then we assign, for example, 8. Well, we are not using these 2 points. We just write equal to 8. In a similar way, we have to be dealing with texts. But for the text copying, you have to be using textual functions, which are pretty known thing. The only thing you should never make, maybe for giving one values to another values, is just assigning them, because some of compilers would allow this, but in reality we don't have to do that, because we are given kind of references by assigning a structure. So it means we are referencing by y after this operation to the structure which was defined for variable x. So both variables will work with the same structure in the end. So I suppose this could be more or less understandable. Let's maybe take a look on some of examples. Okay, so what do we have here? Oh, okay, so we will be having a syntaxes for Borland C, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, here we have disappearing disappearing curly bracket, but I will well after this do. But anyways, it will be understandable. So we have the structure, let's call it friend. We have an information about the friend. Well, maybe the name and maybe the birthday, including year, months, and day as well. So, guys, we can have a list of those friends. So how do we make them? We say, okay, we have data type friend, literally that's the data type which was defined here, because that's the name of the structure. It contains these particular variables. And then what we do? Well, we can use a do-while constructor to ask a user what we're gonna do. Add a new friend, view a list, or just start working. And we can have, for example, the entering function that enters a friend into our array, which has to be actually known by the data type for the function. And this array will be working as the reference actually. Well, because it's not a base data type. And we'll be having some integer n, which actually will be a list of elements. No, in this case, yes, in this case it will be an amount of elements, and in the same way it can be working as an index. For example, when n is the size of elements in the array, when we have 0 elements, so we use 0 to make the first elements information. So what we do? Well, we ask something to be printed from user side. Then we receive that, and we are placing that in nodes. Index n point name. So name will be written. Then they will be written months and year, and then we increase in n. Well, surely there could be a fair question. What happens if we are reaching those 50? Well, we would need definitely to make some coding here. Maybe if we just reach 50 friends in the list, so reaching or adding another one is forbidden because it's just not possible. Okay, how can we make the output? Well, what can be easier? For example, we can have again the array itself, and we can have amount of elements till which we're making output in. So as you can see, we can we have some for loop from 0 till n. Well, excluding the value of n, and then we just making a printouts. Okay, here we have an idea that if the day or months are less than 10, which means they take only one symbol, then we literally add a zero, a textual zero, a symbol zero to the output, and actually that's it, and we have year output as well. Maybe we can take these codes and we maybe can try to make our small app related to this. Okay, so I will be using that C++ like we do that all the time. I will create a new file. So we have it, and I will maybe make a tabulation because I don't really like the style without it, because it's not really obvious for me which information stands on which level of including. Okay, looks like not everything was copied. Looks like. So we have these things. Here, as I said, we will need to have a quarter bracket, which was forgotten into our notes, into the PDF. Okay, so this will have to be done in a such way. So what will happen? Well, this clear list will not, clear screen will not be working, as well as the get character. Okay. The only thing we definitely forgot that we have the C++ that literally asks for int main and other constructions will not be fine for this particular compiler. All right, so we'll be having this thing, and again, clear screen is going away. Oops. Same things will happen here. Nodes, node grammar. Okay, and okay, no big clue why it's written grammar, but okay. So we have this thing, then we have this. Well, yeah, looks like things are fine. I will be saving this file somewhere. Yeah, and let's maybe take a look how it works. IOStream. So maybe I have just IOStream, not IOStream.h. Expected identifier before friend. You know what? The friend word is reserved. So let's make it with the bigger f, because yes, this word is reserved, so we cannot really use it. So let's just use the big the uppercase f. Okay, let's again try to run it. All right, so we do this one, we do cout. Since we're using dev C++, we need to say that the primary we will be searching for function names into std namespace. So we'll be using namespace std. Well, let's run it again. Okay, here we need to add the semicolons. Okay, so I will be adding a friend. All right, name a, date 1, for example, this thing. Next, I will add another friend. Okay, and I would like to see all of those friends I added. Okay, so what do I have? So I have A, I have B, and there is a day, month, and year. Which ones were previously included? Well, we assigned them through the terminal, and let's finalize the work. So let's use number 3. That will be our answer. And as you can see, we have statistics of execution, and we just went out from a system. So that's the way how it works. Okay, since there were some errors which were quite obvious, I will just copy this code in the chat, just in case you will need that. Um, oh, oh, okay. We have yeah. So also does made that faster. Okay, great, great. So guys, is the overall idea of structures clear for you? I mean, why they're needed and how we can use them. Okay, well, I guess silence means things are fine. All right. So let's maybe try to take a look on several things which we can create. So there will be 3 tasks, and let's maybe discuss the first one, and let's maybe make the first task together. So we need to write the app that asks user to fill an array of the following structure: name and year of the friend's birthday. And we have to output information from youngest friend to oldest friend. No, about the youngest and oldest. All right, so what can we do? Things are quite simple. For example, we can still leave the same functions like enter and output. No big difference. The only thing we don't work with date and months, so we need to have only year available. And we will have to just, give that information out. Yes, so I suppose it can be done in a such way. The only thing we will have to, be going through the array and finding the youngest and oldest. The only thing that which would be quite interesting. Maybe we can switch. Maybe we can switch year to age. Let's call it maybe age. I suppose that will be a bit easier for you. If we would say that year, actually that's amount of years, so age of the friend. All right. So about asking a user for an action, I suppose things are clear. About the friend, about the friend structure, I suppose clear. Here we have file declaration. Yeah. And here we'll need to find out maybe a minimal and maximal age person. So what I will be doing, I will just assign -1 to every of these values. And then in the end, I will be printing out information about the minimal age, well, the youngest friend, and then about the oldest friend. Okay, and since I'm gonna use finance, I need to actually have years found for looking for the youngest, and years found looking for the oldest. So I will have to set up some initial values for them because those values will help me. And then I can use if statement. For example, to have the following. So if previously found out youngest amount of years for youngest person is bigger than we have years for the current person I, then we say we found out a new youngest person. So we'll say, okay, that will be a new age of the youngest person, and we will even save the index of such person. Similarly, we'll be working with the oldest one. So if for previously found out oldest person's age is less or is smaller than the current one's age years, then we found out the oldest person. So let's save this, and let's save even the index. And actually, that's the whole logic. So as you can see, nothing very complicated. Let's see what we can do. Let's add a friend. A, it will have, for example, I don't know, let's say 25 years. Let's add another friend, B, which has, for example, 30 years. Let's add a friend, let's call it C, which is maybe 35 years old. And let's view those youngest and oldest friends. So as you can see, the youngest is A with the age of 25, and the oldest is C with the age of 35. And let's maybe stop working of the application. Yeah, so it can be done in a such way. I will give you this code, guys, just in case maybe you will need it. And the question is example of the first task clear for you. So, any comments from your side? Okay, I still see nothing. I still see nothing in the chat. Okay, anyways, guys, since we took a look on the first task, and we have two more, let's take a look on them. So you have to write the app to fill an array of the following structure, and you need to display information about students sorted by average grades. So you have a structure of data which are necessary to be for a student. Okay, so you will have to create such structure. Then you will need to maybe fill information by that structure, and you will need to sort your students by the average grade. So you'll have to compute them, and you have to literally sort the array by these values. So I suppose idea is clear. Okay, guys, so please try to make it. Okay, so something is received from Oswaldus. Right, let's take a look what we have here. Mm-hmm. All right. So what Oswaldus did? So Oswaldus literally used another way of sorting, which assumes that we have to have the function, which will be used as the main sorting mechanism. So that gives a comparison, and by that comparison, we need to um, swap the record, so we don't need. All the rest looks like correctly. Let's maybe try to run it. Okay, how many students we have to give in for? About 5. Okay. So what do we have? Since it's going by the average mark, then we have such sorting of them with the output of the average mark. Well, fair to say that's correctly. So also this you can move to the next. Um, okay, so there is a question for Lorenz. Is it possible for you to do the second task from start to finish? Yes, that's possible. Okay, let's make one if it's needed. Mm-hmm. All right. I will just plug in the electricity. Okay. Um. All right. So let's make that. Um. Okay. Let's assume we will be working on, for example, a bubble sort. Let's suppose. So, maybe I will be. Yeah. So maybe I will just do this a bit differently without the algorithm. Um. Yeah. Without that one. There has to be that average mark that's clear. Um, well, this function will be erased. And we will have let's say not 5 but maybe 3 students. To make less writing. Surely we are making the array of them. And we are going them through. Okay, for sure we have to print them. Okay, here we have a get line seen and this one. Okay, I suppose this is done because when we put a space for the text, it somehow assumes that as the end of the text, and everything that's after the space will be ignored. Okay, but let's make this maybe a bit simpler as we are used to do. Mhm. Okay. Then there will be the average, which surely has to be a summation of all of those marks divided by divided by 4, and here we have 4.0, saying that this is the double value. If we would like to say it's the float, then we would be placing f in the end. So compiler will get this number as double. So we don't have any single integer here, so result will not be converted to integers. So in other words, things happened correctly. Right. So so what we are doing afterwards? Afterwards, when all this information is being placed, then we need to somehow exchange well, literally sort the array. For sorting, we can apply, for example, a for loop, and we will be doing it in a such way. So we will have I and j as for loop iterative variables. Okay, and we will be literally taking a look if student well, minus 1 have been written here as well. If student j average mark, well, if that's for example, we would like to have it from the smaller to the bigger, so it means that if we have bigger value on the left side, then on the right we have swapped them. So if value on the left is bigger than the value on the right, then we have to swap them. So we have to have some temporary variable, and I know we have to use the same. Well, let's maybe start with the same data type. Let's see if this compiler allows to make the straight copy of the structure. Let's see, because I'm not really sure, because compilers are pretty different. Okay, here we have +1, and for 2 + 1 we write information from the temporary variable. Let's take a look if it allows it to do this. Students is the name of the array. I don't know why did I use a student. Okay, let's try it now. Well, yes, looks like it has to allow. Okay, so this part will be erased. Yes, and then we just print now those students with average marks. Okay, let's maybe run it. So we have this one. It will have, for example, all 5s. We have such one which will get all, for example, 2. and we have C, which will take, let's suppose, 4 for every of the subjects. Yes, and you see, guys, we print out sorted elements by the average mark. Well, actually, it's good for us because we just figure out that such a compiler, dev C++, allows to work with structure as with the basic data type. So we can just assign um, the whole variable, the whole instance to a variable, and it will be fully copied. Oh yes. So we have it, as you can see. All right, I will give you these codes just in case maybe you will need this. So guys, is it clear for us how we can solve that second task? Well, I really hope it's clear. All right. So let's take a look on the last one. What we have here? What do we have there? So the task number 3. We have to make the app that asks the user to fill the array of the structure months, income, and expenses. Okay. So literally, it's kind of the overall information about the months, um, about the money which we have in a month scale. So you will have it, and you will have to print out each month's profit. So income is just the money which was earned. Expenses, well, the money which had to be spent on something, and their difference makes the profit. I assume that this task is pretty simple. Okay, guys, so please try to make it, and once you will have your codes, you can post them in the chat. Okay, so we have a result from loveliness. Okay, let's take a look what we have here. Okay, well, the months is there. Great. String library is used. Okay. So we have this information. Okay, great. Um, about 12 months. Okay, enter information of the months. Oh, and that's good that you increase the number because you know you have from 0 till 11, but in reality you have to have from 1 till 12, you know. Okay, so we literally have the name. Okay, great. Income. Okay, very good. Very good. So months with profits. Okay, so literally, um, okay, you made this in such way. All right. So if income is bigger than expenses, all right. So what was the definition of the task? Yeah, where profits are made. Yes. So where income is bigger than expenses. Let's run it. Uh-huh. Yeah, something. Okay, yes. Yes. Fine. Yeah, overly four. But anyways, I didn't write those names. I just use, random, randomly pressed keys. But anyways, there is a correct result. Yeah. Okay. Well, looks good. Looks really good. Great. Okay, let's see what we have. What we have in the chat, maybe from others. Yeah, try to keep it simple. Well, yeah. Code looks great, and actually, it's not complicated at all. It's really simple. All right, so we have some almost 20 minutes. All right, so since we have a time, so maybe let's take a look on those searching methods which are which are maybe more advanced, more complicated since we have some time left. All right. Well, in our study materials, there was a list of links, and here we have a so-called a quick sort method. Well, this video, which is given here, actually is a kind of I would call it fancy video because one of folks bands they literally dance that way of certain the values. If you like, you can definitely take a look on this. Well, it looks really fancy. A really good one. But I suppose I will just, show you with the array, with the example of the array, what is the idea of this method, of this quick sort method. The only thing I will be using one of books I have. Well, I have scanned pages of one of books. So I will try to find this out. Wait a bit, guys. I had it. Yeah, I found this. All right. The only thing this book is in Latin, but it doesn't really matter because we need only the array with the full example. So just imagine we have the array, right? And for the array, as for the list of numbers, we say, well, we would like to sort it from the beginning till the end. So for each certain procedure, which has the beginning and the end, we're saying, well, we're gonna sort a list of elements starting with this element and ending with this element. Call them A index and B index. After each comparison, and it doesn't really matter if we need to make a swapping or we didn't, we have to influence the index. Will it be index A or index B? It doesn't matter. We have to influence them. So index A can be only increased going to the right side, and index B can be only smaller. So it will be reduced, and it can be going only to the left side. So let's call that we influence in index A or index B. Let's say in a such way. So by default, it is assumed then we influence in index B. And the swapping of the indexes to be influenced happens only and only then when we make the swap of the elements. Let's take a look. And we make comparisons only between A and B indexes. So we compare 3 and 8. Should we swap them? If we would like ascending order, ascending order, so literally from smaller value to bigger. Well, no, because they're located according to that sorting. So we are influencing index B. So we are reducing. So next index B will be such one. So we compare 3 and 7. Again, the same case. So we don't need to swap them. So we still influencing index B. So we decrease it to this value. So we compare 3 and 2. Well, okay, we have to swap them. So we're swapping them as well as we swapping the index, which will be influenced. And now we're influencing index A. And it happens, the procedure will be the same all the time till the case when A and B indexes, they will become one value. So what we can say about that which here has the same indexes? Well, that element stands in its position into sorted array. So that becomes a fixed value in its fixed position in the array. And then what we have to do, we have to sort elements on the left side of that and on the right side of it. Because on the left side we have values to be sorted, and on the right side of that value we have values to be sorted. So on the left side, 2 and 1, they have to be swapped. Yes, they have to be swapped. So index A will be increased. A and B indexes, they will become one index where we have these two. And this two has something on the left. Okay, one value, so it will be just on its position. And on the right, it has no any single value which will be you know, swapped. Sorry, compared. Because there is element of three, so there is no any elements between them. So, but anyways, as you understand, we just sorted the kind of left wing of this. So we have this area left, which is the right side of this element tree, which was fixed previously. So 4 and 8, we compare them. Well, nothing should be changed. Nothing should be swapped. So index B is decreasing, and it happens till this value, till A and B indexes, they will be pointing on this value. So if they are doing that, this 4 stands in its position. Well, then on the left of that there is nothing. On the left of that there is a list of elements, and again the procedure will be continued all the time. Well, in the end, we will have each of those A and B indexes pointing on each of the values of the array. I mean simultaneously, so that will say that okay, they are taking their correct position. So that's the idea of this quick sort method. Does it make a sense, guys? At least theoretically, how it happens? Okay, the only thing at this point, maybe it will be quite curious how to program this, because looks like we have no any single amount of those areas or regions of the matrix we can pre-know that they have to be calculated. So maybe since we have some 10 minutes, we can make the codes. So I will be using a time library, and I will be using standard library. Because I will want to have randomized values. So I'll be using a sequence rand. And I will have some integer data type for the array. Well, I will even include n, which will be a size of the array. So what I will be doing, literally I will be making the randomized value. Let's suppose it will be from a 0 to maybe 20. Okay. And I will be, printing that out in a such way. So we will see that array. And afterwards I will be doing the same. The only thing between these printouts, I will be sorting the array. But how? A good and interesting question. So I will have to have the function that will operate with the array. So most likely I will be making this array as the global variable available for all of the functions. And I will be I will put that after using namespace. Okay. And then I will be making the following. I will be making the void function. So void means no return values. and let's call it a quick sort. And this one has to receive indexes. Let's call it index A and index B. Well, index A and index B will be used for the array A. Well, I suppose that's obvious. And we will even give those values in a such way. Sorry, we will be running that function in a such way between a 0 index and n minus 1. What happens next? Next, we will need to do the following. Since after localizing the element, which will be fixed, we will need to have values on the left side and the right side. So we will have to have we will have to store all the values of A and all the values of A and B. That will be the one thing. And the only case in which we have we have to work, our function has to work, is when A is smaller than B, right? In all other cases, we shouldn't be working on it. And we will have to have procedure which works during the case of A is less than B. So what happens here? Oh, and by the way, guys, we need to implement the turn. I mean the turn of which index will be affected. So let's use turn and let it be equal to a 0. So 0 will mean B. And sorry, no, 0 will mean A, and 1 will mean B index. So here we have a comparison. If A bigger than A, B. If only that, so we have to swap them, as you understand. So, well, we can have some templated variable if you like. Well, I suppose this procedure is clear for us. This one, and since we have to change the term, so we'll be changing it. Well, it will be converted to the logical variable. It will be swapped, and it will be written back as the integer, where false is 0 and true is 1. And anyways, we have to, in the end, based on the term. So, for example, if turn is equal to a 0, then we increase an A. In the opposite case, we decrease B index. Well, that's the idea. As you understand, it will be working continuously as iteration by the iteration till the case when A and B become the same value. So when it's the same value, we have to try to do the same for the things which are located on the left and located on the right of that value. So what we will be doing? So we'll be using the quick sort. What does it mean to have the left part of the array? It will be A old, as you understand, the original value of the A plus A minus 1, because on the left of our value, it will be standing A minus 1 index value, not A itself, because A itself value is fixed. And the same case will happen for the right side. So it will be B plus 1, like the element on the right side of the fixed one, till the old value. So that's the procedure. I really hope I didn't make a mistake anywhere. We can take a look. Time.h, probably the library's name. Okay, maybe here again .h is needed. Oh, all right, let's put 30. Okay, something's not really good. Yes, something's not really good. Let me take a look if the swapping algorithm is correctly implemented. So if A is bigger than B, then we are swapping. A is saved, A is rewritten, B is written by original A. Turn is changed. Okay, it might happen I will have to rewrite the turn. So what I will be doing, if turn was 0, then it will be 1. In other case, it will be a 0. Okay, let's see if that helps. No. Okay, so what I did to that printout, to the second printout, I still use the randomizer. Okay, let's return to the shorter version of the turn change. And let's erase here that randomizer, because that's not needed. Right, so what do we have, guys? We have firstly a randomized array, and then you see we have the sorted one. So we receive the result. Well, I suppose you would need this code, so I will put you this code in the chat. Okay, so now you can have the codes. All right, guys. So actually, that would be all for today. All right. So, do we have any questions related to these things we overlooked today? Okay, looks like no questions. Since no one is even writing in the chat. Okay, well, again, I would like to remind you that assignments need to be done, right? About the project you will have to create in C++. I will, well, I didn't have a time actually to think of on that, but I will try to post your definition this evening in the Moodle system. Yeah. Okay, well, if there are no questions, then let's maybe finalize this class. Okay, guys, so thanks for being connected. It's nice that right now you're looks like everyone is here, I suppose. Yeah, great. Okay, so guys, see you next time, and don't forget about assignments. It is really necessary to be done.